Everybody's life is different, isn't it? Everybody's life is unique and special. My life has been quite complex. It's taken me to many parts of the world. And this whole journey of setting up volcanoes 20 odd years ago has been a very emotional journey. My father would just travel endlessly. And I think that's when the wilderness bug really got to him. And he loved the feeling of expanse of Africa. So this was kind of childhood. This was our backyard. It then became a forgotten chapter, but the link with this area somehow continued. I thought, why don't I start trying to develop tourism here, not only for myself, but also as part of the rebuilding of this area. I walked into the aftermath of the genocide. You suddenly had to deal with a lot of political upheaval. But we persevered, and eventually one day we started building this camp, which became a lodge in Gahinga, and in 2004 we opened Virunga Lodge. Those are the Virunga volcanoes in the background. There's 8 of them, and these are at the very heart of Africa. Travel here was very special as a child, which you took for granted. But when I started doing it again, you realize what a magical area this was. This is where Africa meets. This is where the old colonial boundaries started creating different countries, and most of all, it's where the mountain gorillas live. The Dainfossi Map Room was built to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Karisoki Center. It's the oldest research center for gorillas and great apes anywhere in the world. And although Fossi, of course, died in 1985, the work of the center is carried on. Every time you see a gorilla, it's a kind of a new beginning. It's a new experience. There are said to be, in 1960, maybe about 300 gorillas in the Virungas. So it's a great success story, but it still remains a very precarious number. When you look at a gorilla, you're seeing something of yourself. The emotions inevitably are strong, aren't they, for all of us? These are what they call habituated gorillas. So they are carrying on with their life, and you're allowed to intrude in that for an hour in a controlled way. And it is magical because you're just sharing something of your past together. We have to ask ourselves, when you have special species like this, are we just going to let them disappear? Are we going to just let the forest disappear? Or are we going to make sure that for posterity we have this legacy? There's the park. It's a very small habitat for the few gorillas that remain. And right up to the park boundary, you have cultivated land. So we have to balance what we do for the communities, because if they're not going to benefit from the gorillas, from the forest, they have no reason to support it. So these gorillas have been there forever, but so have been the Batwa. The Batwa are one of the oldest indigenous peoples in Africa. In the colonial period, of course, national parks were created to preserve wildlife. But in the end, the Batwa have had to leave the forest without any rights, without any compensation, without any land. They've become what is called conservation refugees. We cannot just have parks that look after wildlife. Somehow they must look after communities. This, I think, is a very important way of recognizing that humans also matter in the conservation chain. Habitats are small, populations are increasing, so I think we all need to think carefully about the paradigm. tourism in the private sector has a crucial role to play. So what's the future for us? One is just to make sure that what we do better. In the end, it's not about hotels, it's about experience. The connection between our lodges and our community work and conservation work is deepening and forever being taken further. For 20 years on, we have survived, we have prospered. It's been an emotional journey, but a very rewarding journey, and a journey of much excitement. It's a magical universe, this, and the gorillas are lucky to live here. And we're all lucky to share it. But we must share it in a way that preserves it and does not destroy it.